Hello there and welcome to Corey Loses, where today we're going to be starting a brand new series on the channel. We're going to be beginning our Thrawn's Revenge Imperial Civil War 2.3 previews. So for those of you who may be new to the channel, or who weren't around during the 2.2 previews, in addition to running this channel, I am also the lead developer of Thrawn's Revenge. So one of the main things I do on this channel is play through the development versions of the mod as we develop, to sort of talk about where we're going, show what's been done, what's being done, give some context to some of the changes we're making, answer questions people may have, basically just play through the game from the perspective of like talking about mod development. So with 2.2 having been released a few months ago, we've been doing some patches, and now we've just started getting into 2.3 development. So what you will see in this playthrough will, especially at first, look a lot like what you have seen with 2.2. There are some changes that have been made already, which we'll talk about as we go here. But do keep in mind while you're watching that everything you see here is still very much work in progress. This is the earliest stages of development for 2.3. So things might actually get progressively a little bit more broken as we go, as we try to start new changes. But we'll be talking about that as we go, showing off what that process is, and should be a lot of fun. I'm really excited to get back into development of a new version, throwing more and more years of my life down the drain. I shouldn't say that because that makes it sound like the mod's going to take years for the next version. It won't. Anyway, yeah. So we are going to get started. I put up a poll about a month ago on Patreon asking the patrons which faction you guys wanted to start with. And the winner from that poll was the Eriadu Authority, so that's who we're going to be playing. I made a copy of it so that we can I made a copy of the Galactic Conquest and the Art of War so that we can play this one and edit the main one without breaking our save. So I want to keep this going for as long as possible with the live changes as they go. At some point, it's impossible to keep going because the save will break, but we'll get in as many changes until then as we can. But anyways, we will get started here. We are going to be playing, like I said, the Art of War, which is 118 planets. It's got every playable faction in except for currently the Corporate Sector Authority, which is the new playable faction for 2.3. We are going to have a Corporate Sector Authority playthrough coming up at some point during development, possibly next, possibly a little bit later. But yeah, so there should be another poll at some point during this playthrough on Patreon for people to pick who we play next. But we will get into it. So this the Eriadu Authority is a faction that we made playable and added in 2.2. Oh, here we go. Eriadu welcomes you. The noble families, including the Tarkans, have asked us to protect their holdings. However, I have grander ideas. We will strike at the core and regain the glory of the former empire for Eriadu. I trust you are up to the task. So yeah, we recently put out a news post talking about some of the major overview of the changes planned for 2.3. Basically, we're adding the we're adding the Corporate Sector Authority, and we are expanding the Eriadu Authority, and we're basically trying to focus on one existing faction and one new faction with versions. Let's turn on all this stuff. So Eriadu will be getting a lot of changes. You can already see here we have the Vigil Corvette added. There's no icon for it. Yep, until that goes away. You can't see that, but we have the Vigil in. We're going to be putting in more and more units as we go through. There's about 3 or 4, maybe 5 units that might show up during the course of this playthrough, including some that'll probably switch out for some of the existing units. But what we're probably going to do first is get Delvardis over here with this fleet. We're going to try to take Elrud and Glova because you get some heroes for taking Elrud. We will be adding a few more missions as well, focusing a bit more on story content for a lot of the factions, especially Eriadu. Yeah, so we do have the statistics page here, so you can see all the stats for it. It's basically a supplement to this, the history graph, but this is a hard-coded thing where you can only see the 3 playable factions from the base game. So what Evil Bob the Bob, one of mainly our AI programmer and also the lead developer of Phoenix Rising, another mod for Empire at War, did was make this stats display page. So you can see for each faction, the planets owned, a rough military percentage, sometimes this is off a little bit, and also the weekly income for each faction. So we are down here. We have 10% of the military strength, 11 planets, weekly income of 45, which is off a little bit. I'm not sure what the difference there is from. But yeah, so we're going to start by going into Glova and Elrud. Let's get this in here. And another thing that I do, I guess just one last little bit of housekeeping before we start. Another thing that I do for these playthroughs is for the Patreon supporters of the channel, which is basically a voluntary subscription service where people can support content creators who make different kinds of content they enjoy. What I do for our preview playthroughs, and this is only for the preview playthroughs, is I allow the patrons to pick a different unit that's available to the faction and basically name it. So throughout the playthrough, we'll be using these special named units, and these, again, they're not in the release mod. They're just names that are requested by the patrons, just as a way to thank them, because it basically makes what I do on the channel possible. So there we go. If you're interested in getting in on that, there's a link in the description. But yeah, so here we go. Most of them are in. I think there's one or two that I still need to code in, but that looks like Glova is free, and we are going to get in on Eriadu. One of the things that I really do want to do with 2.3 is revamp the appearance of the galactic level, sort of make that feel a little bit more smooth and up to date.
Enemy forces ahead.
Because it's not awful right now, but it's not where I want it to be. I want it to feel a little bit cleaner.
Choose your
But yeah, so that might actually be something that can happen over the course of the playthrough. We'll start to see that. I should build a vigil first. But yeah, so there's Delvardis. Let's get Shea Hublin in here. I just want to make sure that we get this planet as fast as possible.
We're on the move. We're moving out. Move out.
And another change you'll notice pretty much immediately here is that the pop cap is 120. So this isn't technically a pop cap increase. We've just rescaled it, kind of like we did between 40 and 60 and 2.2. We've now scaled it between 60 and 100. So ISDs now take 12 pop caps, so it's the same. You can have exactly as many ISDs. But what this lets us do is sort of have more variance on the lower end. So with some of the smaller frigates and everything, it gives us a few more options to spread out their pop cap and make certain ships that otherwise might take up a little bit too much or a little bit too little pop cap, make them fit in a little bit better and give us a few more tools to work with that. So that does mean there's a little bit of discrepancy between how stuff works tactically and how stuff works in the galactic mode right now, and we'll be working on that as we go. But for now, it looks like we've got most of their stuff taken care of here. It's only the two main ISDs. We're all right. Shea Hublin is getting some stuff done. And another thing that we do want to work on that you might see, that you'll probably start seeing throughout this playthrough, is we want to revamp a lot of the map aesthetics. Oh, and the other thing with the patron units is that they also get to pick their fighter loadouts, so you might see some different fighter loadouts on those ships versus the standard ones. But yeah, so you'll start seeing new planet models come in, new skyboxes come in, different lighting, that kind of thing that we'll start to do. But after we win this battle, we'll get our own, we'll get the heroes that we just killed here for ourselves. And we do hope to add some more story-related heroes for, especially Eriadu for this version, because they are one of our focuses. So hopefully we'll be able to get a few more of those in with some story missions that make sense for the faction. With a lot of these Warlord factions, it's a little bit more difficult to get suitable heroes and suitable missions, just because they're rather obscure. But we're going to do what we can where we can and see how that goes. Okay. So we'll get into Eriadu. I think they only just have some stormtroopers there, but I want to start getting our army together. And let's queue up some of our first patrons here. So on Eriadu, we're going to grab, I'm sorry, I'm broke, and Marauder. These are both Vigil classes, so we can see the Vigil. Since this is so early in development, a lot of the new units especially won't have textures finished. Basically, we're trying to do a lot of the modeling and rigging up front, and then we can UV them, and then we have some people on the team who only do textures. They don't like modeling as much, so I want to get as far ahead on the modeling as we can. Then we can go back through, get all the texturing done, and that gives us a chance to get a lot of balancing and all the coding done as well. It's just a bit more efficient that way.
Yes, sir. Choose your reinforcements. Setting course. On my way, sir.
And we'll also start to do our ground balance overhaul for 2.3, and a little bit in 2.3, but mostly in 2.4 or following versions. We have some pretty major mechanical changes planned as well. So those won't start coming in quite as much in 2.2 or in 2.3, but you'll start seeing the beginnings of them.
T2B over.
Did I not? Okay, I did bring down. I was expecting just to come up against
Acknowledged.
some infantry, so there were some TIE crawlers that were just going that way.
T2B, copy. I copy.
There are also some ideas for some abilities that we want to start testing out soon too.
Roger that.
So some of them may not work. Like I said at the start, a lot of the stuff that we're doing right now is going to be you're going to start seeing some experimental stuff that may end up not working out in the final versions. But that's basically what this stage of development is for, just making a gigantic mess that we then have to hopefully clean up by the time we release.
Squad, advance.
Alright, so what do we got? Got Turbo Laser there.
Armor ready.
We got Death Star.
On it, sir. Ready to roll.
And part of the ground balance overhaul will involve trying to make some stuff that's currently kind of useless, like these guys, which do look much better than they did before. Trying to make them a little bit more useful.
Form up. Awaiting orders.
This one is fairly useful, but needs to be made to look better. Where are they? Oh, there's some.
Copy. Adjusting navicomputer.
Moving to secondary position.
Laser tower.
Right away.
I copy. Advancing.
We're too close to stuff. There we go.
Advance.
Construction complete.
Reporting.
Alright, you're at least decent against infantry, so get over there. There have also been some AI changes that have gone on since release, but those are pretty much constant. Where we're always, especially Bob's, always trying to improve that. There was a lot of work done with that in 2.2, but it'll keep happening throughout 2.3 as well.
Copy.
Okay, you guys gotta get over here.
I copy.
I just did a base game playthrough, like the base game campaigns. So I've got to get back used to TR again. Alright, there we
I
go.
copy. Cannons charged. AT-AT ready.
Secondary position.
Veer, that's not
Target
Veers.
acquired.
Bombing run available. Order acknowledged.
Armor transport ready. Walker moving out. Armor ready.
Alright, you guys chase them down.
Reporting
You can
in.
go out this
At
way.
your
I don't think they have any
Ready to roll.
Yes,
structures.
Roger that. Roger that. Form up. Fall out, troops. Initiate bombing run.
Order, sir.
Alright, what do you still got for me?
Right out, man.
Did that not actually kill? Oh my god.
Awaiting orders. Let's move out.
Nope, you gotta go up this way.
Let's go. Roger that. Right away.
And you go up this way. Okay.
Reporting.
You got their attention? That's good.
Fall out, troops. Let's move out.
Form up.
Unit destroyed.
Moving out. Copy. Keep going.
Do they go in that bunker? Okay, that's fine.
Awaiting your orders. Commencing attack.
Support order.
At least we know
acknowledged.
roughly where,
This way.
or we know exactly where they'll be. So,
Reporting. Over there. On it, sir.
okay, you're kind of low. I don't want you to die.
Awaiting orders.
So where can I get another build pad?
Let's go. Keep going. This way.
I want to take advantage of
there.
these sensors while we can.
Sensor node constructing.
Was there one? Yes, there. Okay, so that's.
Complete. Yes, sir. Advancing. Roger.
I knew that was there in skirmish. I wasn't sure if it was kept.
We've captured an Reporting abandoned in. sensor array.
Form up.
Okay, so they don't have any structures. It's just those guys in that bunker. There we go.
Been defeated.
Technically, we've taken 2 planets now.
Planetary control achieved.
Alright, so Moff Andel and, I forget your name. I don't know why Delvardis plays for that. Let me get over here. I actually shouldn't have done that at all. You get over there. There we go. My bad. So, hold on. We have Moff Andal, we have Tanapril, and we have Ekal Zed. So you are just economic, right? Yeah. He doesn't have any information on his card, so we'll have to fix that. But we've got our main our main Space Force here. Let's make Elrud a tax collection agency planet.
Beginning construction.
And let's get Zed over to Eriadu. I don't think we want to go for Sullust just yet. But we do need to make sure. We need to kind of figure out which planets we want to defend and which we don't. Okay, you get on there. Let's get a couple more. Should I move you to Sluice Van? Yeah. I'll move you to Sluice Van. And
Right away.
get over there.
Construction complete.
Let's get
Moving to sector.
our first ships in there. And you
Construction complete.
can now get us Endeavor, which is our Tector. We have Indefatigable and ISD2.
Constructing
And
unit.
let's get Suicide Sphere, our Torpedo Sphere. You guys want to head over there.
Setting coordinates.
I think what we'll try to do is deal with the New Republic in this area. Then we'll establish some sort of garrison at Bakura. We won't deal with the Empire of the Hand yet, and that'll keep us blocked off from here until Era 5. I'm not sure if the air progression will work in this particular playthrough, because we're in the middle of converting that from XNL to Lua for the most part. So we'll see how that goes. I'd like to get Morja if we can. Is there anything? Mega Miner. So they've got some fighting going up in the north. It looks like the New Republic has tried to take Morja. So this should be our ground forces. Yeah, we do already have a Vigil in here. Let's get that one over there. I'm gonna start putting this stuff
Confirmed.
into a secondary fleet.
Right away. Tactical battle imminent.
Uh-oh. Not going to be able to deal with that.
System lost.
What do we really have here? Actually, we don't really have much. Bosk, get up there. We'll need to put these capital ships in with that. And if we can...
Maneuvering.
If we can go to Morja from there, that'd be helpful. But we need to know what's actually happening there. Let's get a probe droid.
Production.
And you guys... I think that's ready. We can go to Saijo. So yeah, the galactic rework, the planet spacing will probably have to stay how it is, because it's all fairly accurate to the placing, and then if you get up to these areas, it's very clustered. But the more we can do to make it look better, that's really the goal there. It's not so much going to be a functional change, just changing the galactic background model a bit more, changing the texture, maybe involve a few more particles for it,
There they are.
make it feel a little less flat. But yeah, so the one of the major things that's coming for Eriadu in 2.3, which we've shown off a little bit, is going to be the Asserter class, which is pretty popular. I've shown off some work in progress shots of it. It probably won't be coming in for this playthrough, but we basically got 5 or 6 ships that are planned for Eriadu in this playthrough, or in this version, including the Vigil. Like I said, not textured, so this is just the Raider skin thrown on. You can just see the model. You can see a better render of it on Mod Database, where it's not messed up like that. Once it's UV'd and textured, I'm going to re-rig it all, and hopefully that'll be before this playthrough's over, so you guys can sort of see the progression of the unit there. I just gave it the Raider skin so that it wouldn't be glowing green, which might honestly have been a better idea. Okay, Marauder, you need to get out of there. They are focusing you pretty hard. Stalker. Okay, you guys gotta get over here. No, it'll be back. They really went for it. I wasn't expecting that. Oh, they're really going for this too. Really wasn't expecting that. I mean, I was expecting something. I wasn't expecting 5 ISTs from that. Alright, yeah, you guys get in for that. If you guys can keep on firing, but get closer in this way.
Ready for command, sir.
Rashawn. Alright, take out the station and hopefully the New Republic will leave.
Engaging the enemy. Target locked. Instructions.
Destroyer here. Copy. Coming around.
Oh, they took out all the weapons on that side except for the dual heavy turbo lasers.
Falling out of formation.
I copy.
I'm on this one.
Okay, station's gonna be out.
The lasers are our target.
Just crush down the rebel units. You know what? Come in there.
Star Destroyer standing by.
Okay, perfect.
Star Destroyer
Alright, nobody shoot anything else that belongs to a rebel.
fire.
Only Meldruid stuff. Until it's a Meldruid raid fleet because of the Crimson Command. Alright, that was kind of lucky. Kind of unlucky. So we lost Marauder and Escort Carrier. But, unlike the challenge playthrough we did before, I can rebuild them. So even when I get you killed,
Vehicle in production.
you're not dead. Alright, so Saijo, let's finish off taking over Saijo.
Construction
No,
complete.
let's leave that there. Okay, there's the probe droid. So let's see if we can just get these forces from Morja. Where are you coming in? Yagdal?
Heading to destination.
Tactical battle imminent.
Okay. They got here fast. I think they were coming in from this way, so it completes the jump. Do they have any interdictors? No, they don't. So Bob's been telling them to use interdictors a lot, all the different AI forces. So that's going to become more of a problem.
The enemy is approaching.
Luckily, this fleet doesn't have any. The thing is, they're still sending something into...
Yes, Commander.
They're still sending something into
Calculating
Yagdal.
jump to light speed.
So... this fleet has to retreat back to Yagdal, I'm pretty sure. Are they coming in from Shardan?
Tactical battle imminent.
Okay, that we can deal with. There's gotta be more to it.
The enemy has been spotted.
I really want this fleet to get in with our main forces.
Awaiting orders. Awaiting your orders. Awaiting your command. We're moving out.
Okay, I think we got this one. Just a hunch.
Open fire.
I'm not 100%
Your
sure, but
command,
I'm
sir. Attack.
pretty
that
sure. Oh, so I should also say that this this series will be posted 5 times a week. So
Commander.
episodes should be going up Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So the next 3 days. And Also Tuesday, Wednesday. So the only days it won't be on are Mondays and Thursdays.
We are victorious.
All right. So that's a good start for us. The thing is, this rebel fleet is gigantic. They're at 18% of galactic military strength. We're up to 15. I guess we'll just have to leave them there for a while. Let's take Saijo.
Invasion commencing.
Yeah, so one of the things with the ground overhaul is that it is going to mean that we're not adding as many ground units for a while. Most of our focus with ground will be on reworking what's already there.
Roger that.
So improving graphical fidelity, but more importantly, making the gameplay better. So that will involve making some of the, or updating some of the models and skins and stuff. But for the most part, it is just going to be working on the gameplay of it. Any new units we do make will mostly be focused on the Corporate Sector Authority, which is, said, the new faction, the new playable faction. They have a pretty big roster of new units for both ground and space. That'll be announced fairly soon on the channel. We'll be doing the regular news post slash overview video combination. And
Enemy unit sighted.
so yeah, so the CSA stuff and the Fall of the Republic stuff, our Clone Wars mod, which is, now that 2.2 is done, going to be going into a lot more active development.
I copy.
Alright, so they seem to have a lot of light vehicles here.
Loadouts. Reporting.
Let's let them come to us.
Yes, General. They call that a diploma. Providing covering fire. Order clear.
Copy. Heading up.
We'll clear the way for you. Acknowledged.
I'm not sure what these guys are going for. A bunker over there? Yeah, probably. I feel like the AI use of bunkers is probably kind of suboptimal. Like, bunkers are great, but more often than not it means they're not using their units for anything. But yeah, so another good thing about these preview series is that it basically it's where I do a lot of my live testing. It forced me to play through, like, as we're going. I have a record of everything that I say while playing, all the changes that I want to make when that happens, testing everything right away, and then a lot of the team ends up watching the playthroughs, and then if I say something, half the time they'll have just, like, by the time I'm on the next episode, one of them's gone through and already done it, which is really helpful. I never have to do anything.
Reporting in, sir. Excellent suggestion.
One of the things that I'm really happy about with 2.3, though, is that a lot of the 2.2 stuff involved reworking basically all the Galactic Conquest, and that's what a lot of my time went into with 2.2.
Ready to receive your transmission.
Because I really like doing 3D art and that kind of stuff, which I haven't been able to do for the mod for basically like 2 years while we finished 2.2. And now I can again, and it's
Awaiting orders.
I read you.
really nice to be able to do that again. Alright, so you guys, I'm going to send you up into the base.
We'll clear the way for you.
And we have lost apparently enough
My way, sir.
of a unit for it to...
Reporting. Awaiting your orders.
Ready for your orders, sir.
And how do we want to do this? Juggernaut, go and shoot it.
Battalion standing by.
Alright, so we can use our bombing run slash orbital bombardment on...
Ready. Destination set.
Orbital bombardment on here, I think. Because it does have all the Plex troopers in there. And 2 AT-ATs over this way. But yeah, it's really nice having just a live record of everything. I have my my whiteboard too, so I write all that stuff, a lot of that stuff down. But just not forgetting what I said is really helpful. Okay, so we have Saijo. I don't want to go straight in for Sullust just yet. I was kind of hoping to send that fleet in this way and then take out Sullust, and we can go back out to Fregesso or something. But that is looking unlikely. Since we are fighting the Rebel, or the New Republic, some of these smaller frigates and the anti-fighter are probably better to have over on our main fleet.
Roger.
And I think I'm actually going to take out a few of these guys, just so there's some heavier hitters in that fleet.
We're moving out.
Because we don't really have much defending on this side of any consequence. So which one is this? Endeavor? Yeah, Endeavor I'm going to send in with our main fleet.
Move out.
These Tectors are super OP right now. Where are you coming in? Eriadu?
Tactical battle imminent.
You can't attack Eriadu. It's where I live. We're gonna lose the Marauder again. Poor Marauder. Okay, so we have to take out Sullust.
Tactical battle imminent.
I don't think Shea Hublin was there yet, but I wasn't paying attention to that. We just had to come in as soon as possible. And we'll see. Okay, that's
Sir, it's them.
no, boss, just go. Don't worry about him.
Choose your reinforcements. Reporting.
So we have NISD.
Heading out, sir. Positioning. Setting course.
Location confirmed.
Let's get our fighters in there.
Confirmed. Right away.
Yeah, so like I was saying earlier with the PopCap changes, we can, once the stuff like Tartans are set to 1, stuff like Carracks, they can all be a lot more reasonable.
Right away.
A lot of the specific changes haven't made yet, it's mostly just been doubled, but some stuff has been adjusted to what it should be. Okay, how is this going to do for us? That's not fantastic, but...
Choose your reinforcements.
Let's go. We'll be there soon. Moving out. Heading out.
Formation.
Fall out. Let's move out.
Roger that. Full speed.
we're soon
Move out.
going over there.
Attacking.
And let's get everyone to focus on Sov.
Form up.
He's one of my favorite Star Wars characters for some reason, but
Reporting in. Move to attack. Cruiser online. Move to attack.
Destroyer here.
I think it was my online name in Sins or something. Something weird.
Awaiting your command. Attacking.
Squadron standing
Your
by.
orders. Closing on enemy.
Fire for maximum
I
effect.
copy. Our target priority
Ready.
is the laser cannons.
Enemy forces sighted. Yes, sir. Our target priority is the laser cannon.
Alright, so this,
Lasers are our target.
Taking fire.
this can probably work out for us.
Attacking target.
It's about to be destroyed.
Your command, sir.
Where do you send it your
Your
direction?
orders.
The big thing is just that,
Those ion cannons.
from one type.
Standing by. The lasers are our target.
Okay, Sov has taken about as much damage as he needs to.
Location confirmed.
You guys can fall back a little bit.
Destroyer standing by.
This interdictor needs to die.
Yes, commander.
Formation.
Cruiser standing by.
Narrowing position.
Our target priority is the laser cannon.
Reporting in.
I'll take care of this.
Our shields are down. Main shields deactivated.
You jerk.
Our primary entrances to the ship are out. Our launch bay is gone.
The ion cannons are
Alright, now we gotta swap back over to this.
We're in position.
Taking him out.
Yes, commander.
Engaging intercepting. Watch your back.
Fire at will. I copy.
Went straight for the engines. We're probably gonna lose
Main shields deactivated.
Rest soon.
Awaiting
Coming around.
Yeah, he's the worst command tier you could get to. So he's not really worth that much for us. We just won't have enough to deal with. Would this be Zinj when it's done? I think it's a Zinj raid fleet.
We've lost our radar cannons. Watch him. He's coming around. Returning to your position. Awaiting orders. Attack. Getting a lock. Closing on target. Pursuing enemy forces. Falling out of formation. Awaiting your command. My engines are destroyed. Attacking. Targeting.
Okay. Well, at least we can do a lot of damage to the New Republic with this.
Setting up my run. Your command.
Okay, you hold off there.
Watch your back.
Let's try to take out the IST. All the New Republic stuff is probably drawing their fighter rate. Their fire, not fighter.
Ready for battle. Cruiser here. Move in.
Are you coming around this way? You are.
Primary engine system is down. I copy. We've lost our launch bay. Our lasers have been destroyed.
So we do need some of you to focus over on this Dauntless. This is a TIE Defender Squadron, right?
Torpedo launcher has been destroyed.
No, Scimitar.
Roger that.
Still helpful.
Reporting.
Okay, they're actually going for the for that acclimator.
Yes, sir.
I don't understand. Oh, you guys are gotta get over here. All those tartans really did help.
Disable those ion cannons. Warm up. Our launch bay has been disabled.
Powder weapons.
Destroyer here. Laser cannons
Yes,
disabled.
that's
They've
fantastic.
destroyed our torpedo launcher. Where are the others? Copy. Engines are malfunctioning.
I'm really surprised he lived. A few losses, but not horrible. Could have been worse.
Right away.
I don't want to go in quite yet. Let's get a scout in there. We can probably go for Bespin. That's some good credits for us.
Star Destroyer reporting in.
Should probably queue up. Let's queue up another Praetor. Let's get Giant Triangle of Doom. In Elrude, we can get the trade port. Eriadu, we can get our station back, and we can get another trade port there. So let's check out what's left at Sullust. That was probably a big part of their Sullust fleet. Very little. Okay, so you are gonna. We're probably gonna beef up the Sullust starting forces actually, because the New Republic spread out start does make it. Even though it has a significant portion of the Galactic starting forces, it does, because it is so spread out, have more difficulty establishing itself. Because Eriadu, it's weaker technically, but it's more concentrated, so there's less that you have to do with the smaller amount of forces anyways. So bumping up the forces on Sullust will probably make it a little bit easier, especially for the AI, as the New Republic to establish themselves.
Inbound.
Because generally we probably would want the New Republic AI to come out on top rather than Eriadu. You still want some variation there so that there's some replayability, but
Move out.
on the whole,
Coming about.
there's enough Imperial factions in the game that having the New Republic be a major factor most of the time isn't going to be a bad thing.
Course plotted. Moving out. Heading out. I got him.
So you guys are going to want to get in there.
Where'd he go? Return to your position.
Yeah, they get a lot of Dauntlesses, but they can tank damage. They can't deal damage that much. So you're just throwing in a few better Mon Cal cruisers over there,
Reporting in. Yes, command. Shields almost gone.
or some assault frigates.
Draw their fire. Getting a lock formation. Yes, command. Around. Direct fire on the enemy.
Okay,
Changing course to intercept. Closing on target. Let's finish it.
there we go.
Away from home. Watch your back. Go after the Spaghetti.
You guys get over here.
Awaiting your order.
So yeah, we should also be getting back into some of the community matches soon. I've been moving, like I moved about a week ago, and so there was a lot of like prepping for that, and then getting everything set up after that. So I haven't been streaming very much, or I haven't streamed at all really in like 2 weeks. But so we do try to do community matches on the channel in 2.2 fairly regularly, usually like once every other week, once every week. So that should be restarting fairly soon. And I think a lot of the development for skirmish mode, we do have some plans for that, will tend to happen on the Steam Workshop copy instead of just being delayed for 2.3. So there will still be some patches and some changes pushed for the live version that everyone can play right now. But we'll see how that goes, because it's usually confusing trying to work on 2 versions at once, making the same changes in 2 places at once. That's why Fall of the Republic is actually built off the same folder as ICW. But yeah, so Dublin, we're good. Took a little bit of damage, but looks like we've got Solace pretty much locked down.
Taking him out. Engaging the enemy. I'm on this one.
Alright. There we go.
Under control. Watch him. He's coming around. Blasted scum.
It's kind of rare to see the station explosion thing on retreat with TR, because the AI doesn't usually retreat until the station's dead. But anyways, that is going to do it for today's episode, so thanks for watching. Hope you're enjoying the series so far. If you do want to get in on the patron ship names, there is a link in the description for that. If you want to check out the mod database profile or the Discord server for the channel or the mod, that's also in the description. So thanks again, and I will see you next time. Bye.